What up? It's Casper. Today I'm going to be talking about the movie Elemental. Movie Elemental is a 2023 film. It's rated PG and it's an hour and 41 minutes. Directed by Peter Sohn. With this Elemental watch, it got me a feel after watching it like, hey, they were actually trying with this movie. It's about these characters called Ember and Wade, and they're elements. So in this city they live in, other elements are residents of that whole world. So there's fire, water, earth, and air. Ember is the fire and Wade is the water. This movie, you're seeing Ember grow up with her family and seeing the backstory where her family is a part of and where her history is. And then out of nowhere we got Wade. But this movie more focuses on how Amber's lifestyle is. We get more detail with her lifestyle, get more detail on who she is with her personality. Not only that, we get more detail with her family, the other fire people. Her family ends up moving into this city where all these other elements live. Amber's family ends up building a business. So long story short, Amber's been there since baby, seeing the mom and dad come from basically nothing, like foreigners, and starting a new life. She is seeing and she is living in the leveling up of her family. The movie starts kicking off when Amber becomes more of a teenager, more of an adult. You see in this movie how she did a lot of stuff with her family and was doing stuff because of family. She didn't really know how to socialize outside of that little town she lives in. In this movie, you see that she's very self-centered. She's to herself and it's all about family. And then ends up meeting Wade, who is literally the opposite of Amber. Wade is kind of like a goofy dude who cries for everything, which is hilarious, but he's the element water. You're seeing how basically opposites attract. You got Amber with her lifestyle and her upbringing in this movie, and you see more of the detail and character on her side. And then out of nowhere is Wade. Both of their lives are both different, obviously two different elements, but this movie is showing how opposites attract. So this is what the movie is about. Really like the atmosphere of this movie. I really like how they focused on every element had their own characteristics. I did like the fun, joy, adventure feel that this movie did bring. Amber's character at times could be a little annoying with her lines, but you are definitely seeing how she's in different stages of her life. Definitely one of those things where it just fit for this movie. Let's just talk about Elemental, just being Elemental. Amber's character was an interesting character. I really like the small detail and seeing when she becomes sad, her light gets smaller. When she's happy, her light becomes big. When she's mad, her flame or her fire turns purple. Really like the flow of her progression throughout the movie. Really like seeing from when she was a child till she's a bigger flame, more of an adult. The love story here with Amber and Wade, it was something that made me laugh at times. It was a shocker to me because it kept me attached to the growth. It kept me attached to seeing how element fire and this element water are flirting with each other, and really good writing and sense of the flirting section with this two characters. All the other characters surrounding this movie, you do see here and there what section they're part of in that city. Also that this world or the city that they're living in is a pretty big city. The architecture that they were going for, I really like all the human-like stuff that they were putting in this movie with like personalities of people being an artist. At one point you see a doorman for Wade's apartment slash hotel, wherever he's living in. Writing for all the other characters that's not regarding Amber and Wade, I thought it was well done, and it was a really cool feel on bringing us into their world, bringing us into their city. Amber was a character that was passable, and it was one of those things that you can keep up with her character whenever Wade was there. Voice actor for Amber is Leah Lewis. So Leah Lewis, I think the voice projection, the sound fit very well for her character. It wasn't an annoying character, but definitely Wade helped. One thing that I also want to point out in this movie when I first started watching it is I really like the sound editing in this movie. Really like how every environment they put you in, you can tell that they're really there with the sound, making it seem very realistic. Wade's character, he's played by Mamadou Athie. Sorry if I said your name wrong. I'm not familiar with any of his work. Definitely in this movie, I would say it was a huge standout because he just made me laugh so many times, came out of nowhere, very funny with the characteristics and the facial mannerisms. One character you probably will come out the movie remembering what he did and remembering his lines is definitely with Wade. Did have a nerdy look. He was definitely shy, antisocial. Hilarious to see that when he falls in love, that he really can handle anything. This movie does have a little love story in here, but the love story is pretty hilarious, and especially the fact that it's elements, fire and water coming together. I think it was a well played move, and the writing helped a lot, especially trying to involve elements. They did a good job on being relatable with the audience. Wade's character was my favorite character. Characters in here are actually visually entertaining to watch. It was a shocker for me to actually watch this Elemental movie. My first time watch on Elemental was one of those things where I'm like, yo, unique characters, unique storyline, just unique world in general. Disney comes up with the most random of stuff, so shout out to Disney coming up with this idea. Overall, you know, the voice acting is good, the environment's cool, the camera direction on how they edit in here is interesting at times, it's fun at times, it brings like a video game vibe. There is a connection with all the characters in here, especially Amber's family, because you do see how they become a little bit older. Amber's dad was a cool character in here, and his lines were legit, his lines were fun, and his lines did have that father figure role. The mom was a little creepy with the witchcraft stuff that she did in here. The only off thing from the mom, but overall the mom was a cool character because they put her in funny scenarios here too. Times you feel like, oh, I'm gonna fall off and not keep my attention to this movie, but out of nowhere this movie just somehow just keeps your attention, and I think it's because from the love side of this movie. Movie is adorable, it is creative, the lines are funny and cheesy but in a good way. The animation was great, the editing didn't seem off, it was on point as well. The soundtrack and the music score behind fit very well. After my watching the movie Elemental out of 10, I'm gonna have to give the movie a 9 out of 10. That's my movie review for the movie Elemental. Shout out to you guys for tuning into the video. Thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you guys on the next one. Peace, y'all.